from Philip Ingram, who is a former British intelligence officer. He joins us now from London. Philip, good to have you on the show. I want to start with you with the Russian president's comments, with him saying that Russia needs to modernize its military. Is this, you think, because there have been many reports out there that the Russians were using Cold War era military equipment and weapons and simply wasn't getting the job done?
Well, partially he's trying to send a more aggressive message out to the West. When he talks of using hypersonic missiles, he's talking of using new or deploying new intercontinental ballistic missiles. But then you have to remember that the Russian defense budget is very, very small indeed. It's only $65.9 billion. The US defense budget, by comparison, is $801 billion. The UK defense budget is almost $72 billion. So he hasn't got the money to develop these weapons. And then a lot of the components for these weapons, as people have found, have come from overseas. The sanctions are biting and will not allow them to be able to develop them easily.
Okay, let's take a look at this conflict from sort of 30,000 feet. I mean, when Russia shifted its military campaign to focus on eastern Ukraine a couple of months ago, many analysts had said that this would actually determine the war's eventual path. And from the looks of it, Russia is gaining territory.
It is gaining territory, but it's gaining very small amounts of territory. And it was, from a military perspective, it was a sensible move that Russia had done. It was trying to do too much at once, and it failed in its initial objective to try and capture Kiev. It failed in its secondary objective to try and take the northeast of Ukraine, and its third objective was to open that land corridor from Crimea up through the disputed Donbass region by capturing all of the Donbass region. But they're having a real difficulty with it, and we're now into an attritional war and a war of artillery attrition, because the Russians don't have the ability to maneuver their forces properly on the ground. The Ukrainians, with a much smaller artillery capability, are holding them back. And the one thing that is happening is that the Russian artillery and the Russian capability is being degraded over the time. And your correspondent talked of the T-68s having to be pulled out of storage, whereas the Ukrainian capability is being improved dramatically as more and more Western kits deployed. So we're in that attritional war at the moment, and it could go on for a very long time.
You say very long time, Philip. Here's the problem that I see. I mean, clearly Russia sees this as an existential threat. So defeat for them, you could say, is not an option. The same could be said for the West, as they seem fully committed with supplying billions and billions of dollars towards Ukraine with the intent of weakening Russia. One side has to lose. I mean, there cannot be two winners.
Yeah, 100%, and this is where we're on the horns of a dilemma, and there is no easy solution for anything to come out of this. Russia can't lose, but President Zelensky now, I don't think, can accept a solution that gives up 1 square meter of Ukrainian territory, and that means getting back even the pre-2014 territory that Russians had taken, and that's why I think we're in for a very, very long period of time, and this is where Russia's going to be hit more and more by the international sanctions, because it's not going to be able to get the materials that it needs to be able to continue to develop and field weapon systems that are being destroyed by the Ukrainians, and the West is building Ukraine up. So the Ukrainians are this ping pong ball in the middle being used to fight Western equipment against the Russians.
I do like that analogy. All right, former British intelligence officer Philip Ingram, thank you very much for joining us here on the NewsHour. Do appreciate the analysis.
Thank you.